Hello, it's Ruby, and today I am going to be doing another video as part of my anti-bullying series for 2018. So this year I really wanted to dedicate some time to properly speaking about bullying on my channel because it's something I feel very strongly about, and for me it ultimately is what so much of the conflict in the world comes down to, which is why it's so key that we address it and we start talking about it, and hopefully also helping some people to find closure with their own bullies or helping those who are currently struggling with bullying. Sorry. Okay. So today I'm going to be talking to you about how I forgave my bullies and found closure. It's a very difficult thing, I think, to talk about as ever, because for me at least it was a very personal experience. I mean, it was something that I found very difficult to talk about for a long time, but now I'm hoping that my own experiences are going to be able to help other people who are going through it, because one thing which I found in response to my how bullying made me the person I am today video was lots of people said, well, I still haven't found closure, I still haven't been able to come out the other side of that even though it's been years, and that's so upsetting to hear, but somehow I'm also not surprised. It can be really traumatic, extremely traumatic, but I really like to think that it's possible for us to come out the other side and become better people for it. But I think the first step in that is being able to offer forgiveness, and that doesn't have to be because they ask for it. I think you offering it is such a cathartic action and something which is so important in something like this. I know it's completely on a different scale, but I remember reading an interview with a lady who, I think she was in Belsen. She said that she forgave the Nazi guards, the Nazi officers, more for her sake than for the sake of them. I know that's a completely different scale, but I think in the same way, offering forgiveness can help us as much as it can help somebody who has done wrong, as it were. Okay, so how to forgive. This is so tricky. I mean, how do you do it? It's so easy for me to say, oh yeah, go forgive your bullies. It's so much harder in practice. No, it's so much harder. I mean, there were times when I was, let's say, in year 8. So year 8 was one time when I thought about this a lot, and I would think, how am I going to forgive them though? And it seems like it seems so strange. I mean, I shouldn't have thought like that because they're real people, but it's so easy for us to distance ourselves from them and to stop seeing them as real people. And when I was in year 8, that was definitely something which I struggled with, but as I grew older I tried to reflect on them as real people, and that really made it easier for me to find forgiveness and want to offer forgiveness. I think the thing that really made a point for me is that I learned about something which had been going on at home for somebody, and it really just made me think, oh my goodness, this isn't a reflection of them, this is a reflection of their circumstances. And there is, I know I said this before, there's maybe not justification, but there's motivation, and that's so important to recognise. I mean, it's out of character perhaps. So yeah, I think recognising that there are situations at home is so important, but sometimes you can't do that till you have a real life example. So looking online, actually looking for stories like this can be quite liberating, to read about the fact that this is a real thing and that somebody's circumstances, somebody's life will impact their actions. Another thing which helped, and this is me speaking as a massive bookworm, massive book lover, but reading To Kill a Mockingbird, which I read at the end of year 8, and funnily enough, I spoke about that basically the theme of my speech for my Parents' Day Head Girl end of year speech was To Kill a Mockingbird. The message behind it about real people and about the fact that everyone has things going on, that we can't make these assumptions. I mean, Boo Radley, that's the person I was speaking about. I mean, we don't know anything about Boo Radley, so how can we make these assumptions? So I said, you know, finding a resource. To Kill a Mockingbird, I would say, is the biggest resource. So if you haven't read it already, I think it might be able to help you in finding forgiveness, because I read it, and I read it at the end of year 8, as I said, and this really did prompt me to understand in a lot more depth. So I recommend reading it. So another thing, which is, this is making it a very selfish thing, you could say, and this again is putting the focus on you. I think thinking about and considering, what will it do to me to find forgiveness? What are the benefits for me for finding forgiveness? And I'm sorry, the lighting is just so variable here. It's such a cloudy, typical British day, and it's just the sun's popping in and out. So sometimes the lighting's good, sometimes it's terrible. You know, what will it do to me if I don't forgive them? So I'm going to be constantly thinking about this, and I'm never going to come out the other side. I'm never going to find closure, and I'm always going to feel the effects of what happened to me when I was bullied. And that's a really, really negative mindset, and something which is very possible as well. So I think recognizing these things and recognizing the benefits of offering forgiveness is really important. So another thing, this is something that I did, and this ties in, this is really a strategy that you can do for offering your forgiveness, but I wrote mine in a letter to somebody, and I basically just explained the situation, and I said, you know, kind of like, I explained how the bullying had made me feel, but at the same time I said, you know, I am more than willing to put this behind us. I don't want for us to both leave school and for that to be the last, that to be a kind of something which is withheld. So I think it's so important to just offer it, and I'm so glad that I did, because it felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It felt like I wasn't hiding something anymore, because something that really characterizes bullying is the fact that it isolates you. Another thing, this is so simple, but over time you probably will see that they will grow up to be nicer. That's what I found 100%. I mean, we were very, very young, and that's important to recognize. So for example, somebody might have been really horrible to you when you were in year 3 or year 4, and you get to year 10 and that person is probably feeling really bad by then. And I say that because since uploading the bullying video, the last one, I have had people messaging and commenting on videos and saying, I feel really bad because I know that I did something mean back then, but and I'm friends with them, and I'm really scared it's still getting in the way of our friendship and things. That's just really important to note, that people do change, and yes, these things have really hurt you, but they probably continue to hurt that person too. They probably continue to feel really bad about it. So you saying to them, actually, I don't hold you to this. It was a long time ago, and I don't think you're like this anymore. And I think that's an important thing to do, and I think it really relieves tension from both sides, especially if you're in a friendship together. Okay, so now this next thing, and I definitely don't want to say this in the wrong way, because I'm not saying this to say, oh my goodness, I'm so kind and like I've done this, and because I'm not saying this to kind of make a point of something kind that I've done in the past, because that's not the point of doing kind acts. You don't do a kind act to then go straight ahead and say, oh, today I held open a door for somebody, you know, to then come online on YouTube and say, today I held open a door for someone, and make a point of that, because that's not the point of kindness. There has to be some level of anonymity there, doesn't there? But I'm using this example because personally it actually really helped me. So when I was in, I think it was year 9, there had been some conflict between another girl and myself. We were on a coach and she was really upset, and I went and sat with her. We hadn't spoken properly and we'd never really connected for years and years. We had been best friends. There was some really horrible behaviour that went on between us. I saw that she was sad, and I thought, actually, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at the moment. What matters is that this person feels loved, and that this person feels okay, because at the moment they're really sad. So I went and sat down with her, and I just sat with her for the coach ride. I was meant to be sitting with my friends, and instead I went and sat with her because she was upset. And I know it sounds so cheesy, and I don't want it to sound the wrong way, but for me at least, being kind healed the scars which bullying had left. Because doing that, it just obliterated everything that had happened in the past, and we were able to form a friendship. And I think kindness and overcoming what is mean with what is kind is so powerful, and so much more than we can expect. Offering that kindness when they don't expect to be offered that kindness can be really amazing, and it can help us to find closure as well, help us to forgive them. You can actually have that transition, if that makes sense. Yes, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Have a productive week, and remember that we can be kind.